on Baller Nation back so soon. It been some things going around about the Heat's trying to consider pursuing DeMar DeRozan, and if that happens, I wrote down a question it was asking, and the question was, how far do you guys think DeRozan and Butler can take the Heats? So if this happens, DeRozan and Butler, how far do you think they can take the Heat if this trade follows through? And also, do you guys think that's a good trade that we could do, and who could we trade for DeRozan? Like, give me some players' name who should we trade for DeRozan, and also, like I said, how far do you think those two players can take the Heat? I mean, it ain't the West, so you could probably take them pretty far to at least the conference finals, because the East is weaker than the West. I mean, you got teams like Bucks, Philadelphia, Boston, I guess you could say the Raptors, and Brooklyn Nets that could be threats in the East, but it's not the West, so they probably could take us pretty far if that happens. But again, I'm going to say the question again. How far do you think those two can take the Heat? And should this happen, is he like even a good fit for the Heat with Butler? And who could the Heat trade for DeRozan? Those three questions. I might put them in the comments if y'all want to write it down in the comments. Y'all know the question. I might write them down in the comments. Now, I'm going to try something a little different with this. I wrote this down also because I probably wasn't going to remember it, so I wrote it down. This was the 2K20 highest rating small forwards. And at number 1, you got Kevin Durant at a 98 overall. You have a Kawhi Leonard at number 2, 97 overall. Number 3 is LeBron James at 96. At number 4 is Paul George at 93. And you have a 3-way tie for number 5 in Tobias Harris at 87, Chris Middleton 87, Luka Doncic 87, and Danilo Gallinari at 86 for the 8th spot. And tied for 9 is Jason Tatum at 85 and Bojan Bogdanovic at 85. So those are the highest rating small forwards in 2K20 in the game. So I got another question. I'm throwing a lot of questions out here today. Is this an accurate list of small forwards from top to bottom? Or would you change LeBron to number 1? Or would you change Kevin Durant to number 2? Or would you change Paul George to number 2 or number 1? So do y'all like the order that they put the highest rated small forwards? Or you think LeBron should be like a 99 or Kevin Durant should be like a 92? Or like, is this an accurate list? Do y'all like the list that was given for 2K20 small forwards? Or do y'all think it should be different? Now, last thing I'm going to do. I got this from IG. This idea from a guy named NBA Basketball Talk. I don't know who he is, but that was his name on Instagram. And he had you know how they always do like the rebuilding, like they'll put like a person like Derrick Rose. I'm going to use Derrick Rose for an example. And they have different pieces to the team, like how many games this person to win in the rebuilding process. But I hope I explained that really good, but I don't know. But he used Ben Simmons. So he had Ben Simmons as the franchise player. And he had Klay Thompson, Otto Porter, Meritage, and Brook Lopez. And he asked how many games could they win. And some people were saying like 60 wins, 50 wins, 55 wins, 54 wins, 48 wins. And I did the same thing, but I kept Ben Simmons as the franchise player. I used Klay Thompson. But instead of me using Otto Porter, I used Paul George. I kept Brook Lopez, but I used Miles Turner. But instead of me having Brook, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you how he had the order. Okay. You know Ben Simmons, the franchise player, he's gonna be playing point guard. Klay Thompson was the 2 guard. Otto Porter was the small forward. Mirotic was the power forward, and Brook Lopez was the center. But I made a little bit of changes. Like I said, being at the 1, I kept Klay Thompson. He's going to be at the 2. Instead of Otto Porter, I used a better player in Paul George at small forward. Instead of me putting Brook Lopez at the 5, I put him at the 4 because he's more of a 3-point shooter now. He don't really be in the post like that. So he's at the 4, and I put Miles Turner, have a good young center that can block shots and also can spread the floor and go to the 3-point line when Ben Simmons needs to get down in the post if he don't want to shoot. So how many wins do you think this team could win with Simmons, Klay, Paul George, Brook Lopez, and Mirotic? But I'm going to tell you the reason why I did it like that. Like, Miles Turner can be he can play the 5. I mean, that's his position. But you know how the league is going to 3-point shots now. So by me putting Miles Turner at the 5, he can also move to perimeter and shoot 3s also. So if Ben Simmons' shot haven't changed and he don't really want to shoot, they can rotate it, and he can go into the post and do his work there. So that's pretty much a good fit for that lineup because everybody can shoot 3s, and also that gives Ben Simmons some 3-point shooting. You can also use your center and your power forward to shoot 3s. And I always say this about Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is a tall, light-skinned Curry, man. This dude never really shot 3s. And now he's shooting them like lights out, just like that. From way downtown. I mean, he just be throwing it up there. But with the lineup like that, and also, Klay Thompson really ain't that ball dominant. All he do is catch and shoot. I mean, he can put on the floor when he needs to. And the only other ball dominant person on the team really would be Paul George in that lineup. Like, Klay Thompson just catch and shoot all day. Brook Lopez, he basically be a catch and shooter sometimes as well. And you give it in the post a couple of times with Miles Turner. You don't have to always give it to him all the time. I mean, you can feed him. The only ball dominant other person in that lineup is Paul George. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too much to complain about in that lineup there. It just mainly be Paul George and Ben Simmons handling the ball in that lineup. But what I want y'all to do is give me the bench players. Like tell me how many games they could win with that lineup. But also give me who could be the role players. Like, who could be the 6th man? Would you have J.R. Smith as a 6th man? Sweet Lou. Spencer Dinwiddie. Would you use Will Barton? Devin Harris? Like, who would be the 6th man? And who would be the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th man on the bench? Like give me your input on how this team could go. But I think that's all. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like it up. Share the videos. And y'all please like up the videos. And y'all please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. I've been at 19 for the longest. I want to get from 19. But peace out. Y'all be blessed.